want to welcome Peter Scholtz. Hey, Peter, how you doing, man?
Hello, I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for invitation.
So Peter and I have been so we finished up the Sorcerer stuff a while back, and we posted stuff on Tabletop Simulator. We had people were Peter's people local to Peter were playtesting. People were playtesting on the Tabletop Simulator. We got a lot of feedback from backers, and then Peter and I went through basically all the feedback, made a bunch of like little tweaks to clarify cards and make things a little more understandable. But one of the biggest issues we were running into was just the difficulty level. We wanted an extreme challenge when playing, so that you would get can get a lot of replayability, and you could work to find different combinations of ways you could create your sorcerer that would give you the best chance, etc. But for a lot of people, the difficulty level was just too high. And so, actually, Peter, you had some a really cool idea on how to address that that difficulty. You want to talk a little bit about the?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I will. Okay, at first, before I will go to the Blackstone, to the new cards, to the new stuff, I will just briefly tell the mindset regarding the difficulty of the sorcerer. I was creating this Endbringer expansion to be. We decided to not be a standalone product, so I was designing it to be an advanced a product for advanced players, but we find out that even the new players are really interested into the cooperative side of the sorcerer. That means we have a talk with Rob what to do with the difficulty and so on. Then we start the public sessions, public testing for the Endbringer stuff. We receive a ton of feedbacks from you, and I want to thank you in the name of our company for all those beautiful feedbacks that you gave to us. And we find out that what we can do to be satisfied with an outcome, to leave the higher difficulty as it was and introduce a new difficulties. We came up with variables. Let's say some modules or variants of the setup preparation for the game, so you can manage your own difficulty as you seems fit. What does it mean? In game, you have those. You are not attacking the battlefields of your opponent. Instead, you are attacking the monoliths. Monoliths are the source of the power for the Endbringers. You will find those things in the lore section, even of our page, or within the rulebook. So you are attacking those monoliths, and when you destroy the monolith, something will happen in the standard difficulty, which means the harder one. Something bad will happen to you. Something really bad. So with the new stuff, the Blackstone shards, you will get quite opposite. That means it will be beneficial for you. What does it mean? When you destroy a monolith, you will get an effect that you can resolve in a moment. The monolith is destroyed. So when you are playing a single player, it's okay because there are no other players to target. So you just pick one of those two effects which are stated on the card, and you are good to go. So you just destroy the monolith and resolve the mechanic. When you are playing with more than one player, the player which hits the monolith and destroys it will choose a player and choose an effect for that player, and he will get this beneficial effect. How is it scaled? When you are playing with more players, there are more monoliths in play. So when you are playing alone, you have one monolith per side of battlefield. And for instance, when you are playing in 3 players, there are 3 monoliths per side. So there are 9 effects in total. So that's how the game is scaling. So that's important. Uh, these new Blackstone shard cards uh, will give you something like a reward. The people who wants to be rewarded for their efforts, like when you get some loot in the RPG games and so on. Uh, this is something similar to so you will destroy the monolith and you will get the loot from it, and the loot is presented as a one as a beneficial effect which you will resolve immediately after it is destroyed.
Yeah. So with the shards, so basically there's these monoliths that basically are like allowing the demigod to stay in our dimension, and if you can destroy them all, you can banish them.
That monoliths are created from the Blackstone. That's the only material which does not exist in our real world, but it exists in the Sorcerer world. The Blackstone is the only material which can contain a huge energy that can release the old gods, the Endbringers, or all descendants from gods from their prisons. So when you will destroy those monoliths, you will release those energy, and you will just exile them back to the prisons. You cannot kill those monsters that do not have health. You are not able, even within army, to kill those gods. You definitely are not. So what can you do? Destroy those monoliths, and they will go back to their exiles. And that monolith contains a magical power, and this is the source. I mean, this is the beneficial effect for you.
So basically, when this was first designed, we had monoliths that, when basically as you broke them, basically you were getting the demigod really angry, and they would, like, as you broke their monoliths and were weakening their hold, they'd be lashing out at you. And it's very cool because basically from your Nemesis deck, from the army deck, and from the scenario deck, you get these specific monolith cards, which have effects related to who you're fighting. So basically, as you're breaking monoliths, they're lashing out at you in ways that relate to their deck, and it's very cool and very challenging, right? You're basically just as you're making progress, you get smashed back, but it does increase the difficulty a lot. We have a few neutral monoliths, which basically don't do anything when they get blown up, and you can mix those in if you to lower the difficulty a little bit, or when you're not playing with a scenario that does it. But even in that mode and some of our other difficulty modifiers, the game was still a little too challenging for some players. And then Peter had this idea: we could have some monoliths that allow beneficial results. And so we added basically an entire booster pack worth of content for free for the backers to address this issue. And so basically with those, you can, if you want to play on the hardest mode, you can have all the difficult ones that give the Nemesis additional powers as you defeat them. He's basically getting angry and lashing out at you. Or you can mix in some of the neutral ones. So sometimes they'll do nasty stuff to you, but sometimes you get lucky and it'll have no effect when you break one. Or you can mix in any number of these beneficial ones. So as you're breaking these down, you get little benefits. You could even shuffle all that together, and then you'd have way more than the 9 that monoliths that you'd need for a 3-player game. And basically, if you shuffled all of them together, then sometimes bad things would happen to you. Sometimes
you have something similar to booster packs. You do not know what you will get.
So basically, this gives us both the ability to modify the difficulty of the game and give you the ability to have a game where things could get more difficult or easier, and you're not sure what's going to happen. So it adds a lot of really cool content. So win rate. So generally speaking, for the solo play stuff, I personally like it to be pretty challenging. So I want there to be a difficulty level where any player, even the most advanced player, so if you're playing on the hardest mode, basically the most advanced player should be probably going to lose. If you play with the hardest difficulty level, I don't care how good you are, it's going to be an uphill fight. But we definitely want there to be a level where an easier level where a casual group just coming in and playing this type of, for the first time, have at least a 50-50 chance of winning. So basically we've got many difficulty modes in the rulebook, which you can adjust difficulty with, and then adding these monoliths, this should give us that sort of spread of game difficulty where it goes all the way from, the casual players, have a really good shot at winning, all the way up to the most advanced group of players working together and choosing their sorcerers carefully, still have an uphill battle and have to make great decisions and get a little bit lucky in order to win. So basically, we find that really adds to the replayability, because when you have this incredible challenge and you play and maybe it takes you a few times and then you finally win a game, then it's like awesome and high fives all around when you're able to pull off that battle. So basically, with those difficulty levels in the rulebook and these additional monoliths, that's going to really give you the ability to customize your game to that challenge level that's perfect for your group. Let's see, has there been a specific sorcerer domain or legacy that has been particularly challenging to balance in either direction for Endbringer? Peter, you can speak to that. Yeah, of course.
Rob, you know the answer also. It's Tenak. Tenak was. I don't know how to pronounce it, Rob. I'm pronouncing it right. Tenak.
Yeah, you got it.
So Tenak was really difficult. We need to find out how it will be. Well, it's not particularly a balance question. It was difficult to bring Tenak into the Endbringer. That was really difficult. Rob was helping me a lot with this, but to balancing out, I mean, in Endbringer, I was not trying to balancing out something. I just need to win. Yeah. I was just testing, and if I win with every combination, it was good. And it was hardcore because there was some combination that has like 2 wins and 8 loses, and then it was some that were six wins and 6 loses. In Sorcerer, you need to find out that Sorcerer is about how many time you play the game or how you master the game. Some of the combinations are easier to play for the beginners, and some will reward you for how long you playing with them. For instance, the people are telling me that the Necromancer is not as good, but I can tell you that me and Rob, I can speak also for Rob, we really love Necromancer, and you have no chance when you are playing with us.
Yeah, and one of the great things about the solo/cooperative mode is we know that some of the sorcerers combinations will have a better matchup versus some of the nemesis than others. So our goal was not to make it so that every single combination that you could possibly have would give you the exact same win percentage versus every single combination of the nemesis. No, in fact, the opposite, and we like that. So basically, some of the sorcerer builds will have a harder time versus a certain nemesis build, and some of them will have an easier time. And one of the things that you can do when you're playing around is strategize on your sorcerer build. Like, okay, we're going to fight this nemesis. What do we think will give us the best possible chance? Like combination of character lineage and domains to be able to win this matchup. So you can approach it from that angle where you're like, oh, let's strategize about our what we're going to play. Or you can take the opposite approach and be like, let's have the most challenging game possible and give your, and you can either randomize your characters or choose your characters first, then choose the nemesis. Or you can specifically choose characters that'll have a harder time because they can't deal with specific things that the nemesis is throwing out. So that gives us a whole lot of customization and replayability by having that that variant. So
exactly.
So basically,
I really love the state right now of the game. I mean, with the Endbringer and with all the content that we've made, because it's a toolbox. I mean,
yes.
I can mix and match whatever I want. I can see the target audience, or not the target audience, but many of our fans of the Sorcerer are the former pro players of the games like the World of Warcraft, or and that's the facts, and also the Magic, the Gathering, and so on. The cool thing is that in Sorcerer you have a product from the scratch. That means that all the cards are good. You do not have something like vanilla cards and so on. All those cards are really, really tier 1 cards within the deck. So you are playing a good deck from the scratch. Those who are playing the CCGs know what I'm talking about. So that's the cool thing. And you have so many options. You can just mix and match. And when you will see something easier to, when you will see your combination to be easy, for you to beat the Endbringer, you just mix those harder monoliths into the pile and make the game significantly harder for you. So you can mix and match. You will have those. This is a great toolbox for you to enjoy and to explore. The exploration is the main mindset of the Sorcerer. You have a lot of new stuff you can just explore.
Edward has a question here about if you have a nemesis and a sorcerer combo with lots of tokens, many mechanics. So this is another sort of cool feature about Sorcerer in general, and especially when you're combining it with Endbringer. The difficulty of play, like how complicated a game is this, that changes depending on what things you do. So if you want an easier play experience when you're playing like Sorcerer, for example, like the Vampire faction's pretty, the lineage is a pretty easy one mechanically to handle. But some of the others, might get more complicated with the things that are, things that are going on. Same thing with the characters and the domains and the nemesis and and their archetypes, etc. And in the rule book for Endbringer, we talk about the complexity level of complexity and difficulty level of the various things that you can be playing. So you can end up with a game if you're playing the most complicated stuff on both sides of the matchup. You can end up with a game that's fairly high in complexity level. Or if you're playing the simplest stuff on both sides of the matchup, it can be a pretty easy, basically it goes from like mid-low complexity to mid-high complexity, depending on which things that you're using. So that can give you an opportunity to play the simpler stuff in your earlier games. And you can all, so you can play simpler stuff and play on lower difficulties as you're sort of working your way up. But you can just come back to that well so many times and get great play experiences as and you can ratchet up the complexity as you and the rest of your play group understand the game better. So,
if I can just add, when you are playing Endbringer with the core stuff, with the core box has a complexity level lowest of all. When you are getting the special products like the boosters, there are more complex sets. But core set of the Sorcerer, it's not as complex as it seems on other. The same goes to the Endbringer. So when you are starting with the complexity 1 Endbringer, you have you have like a vanilla minions on the opposing side, so there are not many effects to track at the beginning of the game. This is how we differentiate the complexity level. So yeah.
So Larry's asking, saying he really enjoyed Sorcerer. Thank you. That's awesome. Where are we in the development of this product, and are we ready to produce and ship? So basically, the Endbringer stuff, design, development, play testing, basically that's all done. So basically, we had a finished product a while back, which we showed the backers through Tabletop Simulator, etc. And based on your feedback, we wanted to add that sort of easier level. Wasn't necessary for for the game to be functional, but we really wanted to be able to have any player at any skill level on ramp into the Sorcerer experience, and then as they build up their experience by playing, they can add to those difficulty levels. So something that we've been doing all along with Sorcerer and especially with Endbringer is we're just adding extra cool stuff for free as we go.
Yeah.
We're Peter and I are both perfectionists to a fault with the games, where basically we really want it to be just so, and that's wreaked a little havoc on our timelines, of course, along with all the COVID related issues. But so we apologize for the lateness of the product, but we are making it as awesome as we can. And so where we're at in the process, so we've got these additional new cards that we've added. Also, Peter's been working with Adam to our graphic design and editing to to make those corrections that Peter and I went over, etc. So basically, at this stage, we are doing editing and layout issues to make the cards as easy to understand, etc., as possible. So we have, and obviously we added this new group of cards that we've just created for the easier mode, and we have to get those print ready, etc. So basically, design is done, development is done, and now it's a question of finalizing those files and getting them to the printer. A whole bunch of the stuff is basically printer ready at this point. A lot of the character lineage and domain packs, etc. So a ton of the stuff is ready, but this is a really big project. I don't even know, Peter, do you know the card count off the top of your head between all the character packs, all the lineage
I just took
domains?
a note while you were saying you added cards that we need to get the card count.
No chance. There will be definitely more than 500 different effects, or I don't know.
Yeah, but the card count is massive. The artwork is gorgeous, and just tons and tons of original artwork. And so basically, even though we're like 99% of the way there, this final stage of just making sure all the print ready files are fully correct will take a little bit of time. My best estimate is we'll have the all the files, including all these new cards, submitted to the printer next month in April. And then we'll be awaiting the pre-production proof. That's where we get a physical copy from the printer of everything, and basically approve that and say, yes, this is this looks great, or oh wait, this you messed up the production on this element or that element, and so we will quality control that. The original Sorcerer, and for anybody who's got it knows, it is gorgeous, really, really beautiful product. And we're going to be, of course, shooting for that same super high quality level with all the Endbringer content. And then once we get that pre-production proof approved, then the printer has a printing period. Usually that's in about the 3-month time frame for the for that for the printing and drying and packing and all the elements of that. Obviously, China is currently going through, struggling to contain COVID. They have their COVID zero policy, and that means occasionally areas are being shut down and no one can go to work and factories have to shut down, etc. So we may or may not get hit by some delays on that. Obviously, fingers crossed for a smooth production period, and then we ship to our various fulfillment centers around the world. So we are. My current best guess is that we will be delivering finished product to backers' hands this fall. Obviously, various issues in the world with shipping and ports closing and factory shutting down, notwithstanding. But that's where we're at in the process. So we'll update the tabletop simulator files to include these new cards as well. So you'll be able to, for those who like tabletop simulator and want to play, we're going to leave that tabletop simulator stuff that we created for backers and others to be able to experience the game and give us feedback, especially during COVID where we couldn't get together with large groups for testing. We're going to leave that up for you guys so you can keep playing it in that form if you like. And of course, the physical product where we're going to work to get it to you as fast as we can, but we're not going to sacrifice quality at all. We're going to be going through all the steps to ensure that the Endbringer content is just as beautiful as the original Sorcerer content. That's my super long-winded answer. So Peter, we'll go through these very quickly. You can talk about the mechanics you can take as much time as you like, but we'll talk about you can talk about the mechanics of the individual Blackstone shards.
Oh yeah, sure. At first, before I will go into the effects, the mindset of those effects were that at least you need to have the benefit. So I did not design them to be super situational. So let's see. You may choose one, of course. So when you will destroy, let's pretend we are playing in a 2-player game, and I will deal the final damage and destroy the monolith and flip up the card, and it will say that you may choose one. So before I will go into this effect, I will choose a player which will have this beneficial effect. So I will choose, for instance, Wrap. You may choose one. Restore up to 5 allied defense, so it means our lives, or exhaust the battlefield, or distribute 2 damage among enemy minions. So let's see this effect. Is absolutely perfect to demonstrate those. So let's see the situation when we have the last battlefield and we was really afraid that we will get hit hard on it. So when I will draw this card, I will choose to exhaust the last battlefield, so there will be no battle there. So it will possibly save our lives. In situation when this monolith was on the last battlefield, I will choose to heal up a 5 damage from our defense, which is super cool because we will negate one great attack against us. And at least distribute 2 damage among enemy minions can be really crucial when you have a minions with 1 life, one essence left. Like for instance, the Deadbringers skeletons are mostly one wounds each, so you can it is pretty a lifesaver right now. So yeah, that's only one of them. There are 9 different effects of those shards. So Debbie, do you have anyone? Okay, so you may choose one. Play a minion from your hand with its cost lowered by 1. What kind of effect this is? So let's see, you have some energy left. You will play a minion during the battle phase.
Yeah, that could be another way to shore up, like, oh my gosh, is this battle we're really worried about? Like being able to add a minion at that stage of the game could be huge for that.
Yeah, exactly. And but it is a really situational thing. So therefore there is a secondary effect, because as you can see, one of those effects are pretty hard situational. So when you are on the zero of energy, you will not buy anything. You will buy a minion with an energy cost of 1. Okay, so because you can buy a minion with a 0 cost. So therefore there are the second effect you can choose, and it's gain 2 energy and draw a card. What effect is this? It's amazing. Okay, so the third one, exhaust an enemy minion or gain 2 energy. The same thing. You can just exhaust a very nasty big minion, or you can gain 2 energy, which you can spend in the upcoming turn. You may choose one, play a sorcery card, the same as you have with the minion, but mostly sorcery cards are cost 1 energy. So this is really playable. It's not as situational as with minion. So you can have you basically get 1 energy and an action pool to play a sorcery card from your hand during the battle. Or if you have no energy, if you
Oh, Peter froze up there.
Uh-oh, what happened?
That's all right. So I think we may have lost our connection to Europe there briefly.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
I'm back. Sorry for it. So yeah, that was already shown.
Yeah.
All the same.
That one, okay.
And that's another one. Play an attachment. That's the third of those 3. So you can play an attachment from your hand, or you will gain 2 energy, which is super cool. Restore up to 5 ally defense, or search your grimoire, shuffle afterwards for any card and put it into your hand. So you can basically find anything you need. It's a really cool effect. You may reinforce a friendly avatar, which players like players playing with nearly anyone. I mean, many times it happens that I had an avatar on a battlefield and I want to use the tactics on the other battlefield. You can do it with it, but in this, it's not the main effect. It's just a splash effect for what's coming next. So you are reinforce a friendly avatar, then choose one, gain 3 omens, or refill your fate counter. So all those so friendly, you will move an avatar and you will refill your fate counter. How cool is that? And if your fate counter is not depleted, you will just gain 3 omens. So either way, you will find your reward. Choose one. Restore up to 5 allied defense. As you can see, there are more than 3 cards which you will restore your defense. Or heal up to 5 damage total from any number of friendly minions in play. Those effects are as not crosswords, so you can choose any of your friendly minions. So that means you can also heal minions that your partner has in the game. So
yeah, that's a really important note. These are not battlefield specific effects. So when you defeat one of the monoliths and get this effect, you can apply it to whatever battlefield you feel like you need the help in. So that'll be
those Blackstone shards contains a very, very rare and very powerful energy within it. Choose one, restore up to 5 allied defense as the fourth time that it was used. It was really important for me to provide you a healing mechanic, or already up a friendly minion. This can be really cool. I mean, already up a friendly non-legend minion. I can see now that it will be at the end. Already a domain skill card. So yeah.
So one of the cool. So obviously these effects are very cool. You have multiple things to choose from, so they're always going to be useful. And there may be some things that you're really hoping for to get, but you might not get the exact mechanic you need with each monolith that's revealed. And also, if you're doing that thing where you mix the nemesis beneficial monoliths with the player beneficial monoliths and shuffle them all up, and then deal out the monoliths that you for the game. And so you don't know with each monolith is it going to be
it
good.
can be really fun.
That can create some really awesome game tension and some just really exciting moments where you've defeated a monolith and you like flip it over, and is it going to save your life or doom your fate? You don't know. So yeah, it's really I'm really excited about the amount that we've added to the game with these 9 additional cards. It's going to give a lot of great new play experiences for the Endbringer set. So,
Rob, how many cards did we add it since the Kickstarter? 80?
Oh, so many. Like basically
80 to 100 cards.
And a lot of it was with these monolith cards, where we basically added more and more to what was going on with the monoliths, where we got the specific monoliths for each individual deck to really flavor up those monoliths a lot with individual cards for each nemesis, each archetype, and each scenario, and then adding like the neutral monoliths, and then adding these beneficial, the Blackstone monoliths.
Rob, we also added the action cards.
Action cards, it just tons and tons of content. We took what was a very good game and just added a ton of stuff to it, and of course, all that's free to the backers. It will affect the end MSRP that the product sells for in stores, but backers, when you back our product, you're in, and doesn't matter how much stuff we add to it, you're getting all that. So yeah, it's a lot. We'll have to go through and check, but and that's a fairly typical thing for us, where we'll add a bunch of coolness after the fact, because we just want to make the products as
I remember, Rob, I remember the moment that I realized that how cool it will be that every single nemesis will have its own action deck. And it was a moment when I want to tell you that it will be cool that we need to edit 60 cards or I mean 80 cards. And it was like, I was really afraid that to tell someone that Kickstarter is ended, that Rob, we need to add 80 cards, not 80, which is the separate product on itself. I mean, and Rob was like, if it makes the game cooler, yeah, go with it. And okay, fine, perfect.
Yeah, but it's been a real joy working with Peter on Sorcerer, because there's so much passion that you have for this product, for this world, and I see you bringing that passion to every single game design project you work on. But there's I sort of first saw it in Sorcerer, when we first met, and you were talking about this game that you had
7 years ago,
world you designed, and I just love seeing that level of passion from a game designer. It always shows through in the product, in the end. So yeah, I love what we accomplished with the first Sorcerer set and the Kickstarter expansion for that, and I'm even more excited about the content for Endbringer.